Every single plant has its gift of food, utility, medicine, or breath. And they all give breath. If they're green, they're given oxygen. This plant is really a powerful, powerful plant. So it's used to take away pain and fever, to heal bones. And twice I've seen people use this one. When you go beyond the biology of the plant, you might say, oh yeah, there's all sorts of good biology in this plant that helps for pain and fever and bone issues. If you go to working with the spirit of the plant, so you might think of it this way. Back in the day, people would say, oh, I'm just going to work with the biology of the plant, or I'm just going to work with the spirit of the plant. That's not really how we used to do it. You'd work with both. So nowadays, there's very few people that work just with the spirit of the plant. The spirit of the plant, they have a spirit just like me, just like you. And those spirits can be really strong and really helpful. So I know of people twice that have used this plant to heal broken bones within 4 days. But if you're going to do that, you have to work with the spirit of the plant. So this right here, you go like, gee, that's such a pretty plant. I'm going to take one leaf. So I'm going to release some tobacco. Now, it's really important to ask for it to be accepted. This plant doesn't have to accept it, so it doesn't have to give its gift. And we hear that more with domesticated plants. The exact same wording in Ho-Chunk is used when you gather like corn, beans, or squash. You ask, I'm releasing my tobacco. Will you accept this tobacco? Now, I was told if you just go like, I'm taking these plants, it's almost like if someone took your children, you know. So it's important to talk to this being as a living being and think about, I'm not gonna assault this being because it's giving a beautiful gift. So I'm gonna take a little bit, and now I'm gonna talk to this plant because it's a living being just like me. And it has a spirit, and there's beings that are around it. Like in my I was taught is there's spirits that tend this plant too. So I'm going to talk to this plant and talk to it about its gift. I'm just going to take a little piece. What I do is I ask them. That's why I'm feeling them right now. When I gather, I always ask the plant if it wants to give. And sometimes you'll get it really strong. No, get away from me. I'm like, okay. So you got to ask and get used to like waiting to see if you're supposed to or not. So just now a bunch of those branches said, no, not me. So then I'll keep looking until it's like, oh, there goes one right here. So this one just showed itself. And this one right here, you could make a rim for a birch bark basket, or you could do all sorts of stuff with that. And the teaching is you count 11 or you count 13 and pick one. So you never want to say, oh, here's me, I'm going to pick all of this. You got to be respectful of it. Because if you keep picking, there won't be any for your relatives in the future. There won't be any for the bears. There won't be any for the deer. They got to eat too. So you've got to be respectful. Count 13, pick one. So you're always thinking about, you've got to leave the plants enough so that they can regenerate. They say if there's less than 100, that they're not going to make it. There has to be at least 100 somewhere. So like for these, it's spores, but usually it's seeds, and you've got to think about the pollinators. You know, if you don't have the pollinators, they're not going to make it either. So if you don't have the insects that can pollinate it, it won't survive. But there is a lot of food that we still don't think of as food. So sometimes we have to get out of our comfort range and think about, this is food, and how can I respect this as food?